For my next review, we're going to go back to 1985 and take a look at Skyjet, which looks very much like a helicopter-based shoot-'em-up. So let's take a look at the packaging for Skyjet then, and quite a nice bit of art on the cover there of a helicopter. Gives you a clue of what you're going to be doing in the game. And classic grid-style Mastertronic packaging. You can barely even read the name of the game on the side of it though. And on the back there you've just got some loading instructions. Inside we've got the screen displays, as they were called, and obviously some screenshots of the game slung in there, all looking rather similar, apart from this bottom one where it seems to be daylight. So obviously it looks like some kind of shoot 'em up, maybe a little bit like Choplifter or something like that, or Super Cobra. Find out soon enough, of course. Anyway, inside we've got the aim of the game. You've got to collect radar equipment and supplies from secret locations and deliver them to the Allied bases in the war zone. Okay. Joystick only on this one. And just note down at the bottom there that this game was released in 1985. And we've also got the familiar foreign language instructions jammed inside the packaging there as well. Okay, we have a loading screen for this game. Quite a nice one too. Nicely drawn attack chopper there. This title screen's by Jim Wilson, who did many of the Mastertronic title screens. Can't remember if I've mentioned him before. He is unfortunately no longer with us, which is a shame, because I would have liked to get his thoughts on creating some of these loading screens, but there you go. So the game's loading and we'll check it out soon enough. Here's the title screen, and pretty basic looking stuff. You've got your high score and number of lives and stuff across the bottom. Two options on the menu, skill level. It seems from the few games I've had so far that 0 is actually the toughest skill level, so I'm just going to set that to 4. And then when you press 2 to start the game, you get this option to adjust the filter. I had no idea what this meant. There was nothing in the instructions about it, and that's also true about how to actually play the game. My first 3 or 4 goes of the game involved me basically flying around, getting blown up and scoring no points. And I've tracked down a review of the game from Zap64 back in the day, which tells me not only how to play the game but what this filter is supposed to be. And what it is adjusting how big the explosions are. But I've messed around with it, and basically when you say yes, you get JS for wrecked sound. I think JS must mean joystick, and you move the joystick around and basically nothing happens. So I've just given up on that. So on with the game, and here it is. So you're flying this helicopter. All these things that are firing bullets up in the air, you can't shoot them despite having the ability to drop bombs. If you press fire, you can shoot their bullets, but if you fly into those explosions you die. If you hold the fire button down, you can drop bombs, but you can't blow those things up. So the screen scrolls from left to right. There's also a submarine floating across the bottom which you can blow up if you can get to the right place to do so, like so. And the idea of the game, I finally found out after flying around madly for no apparent reason, is to pick up these little boxes that say ET on, and the idea is you've got to build a turret, and you do that by holding the fire button down on this flat area and dropping it, and as you can see a little bit of the turret has now been built. So that was not explained at all in the instructions. There's no demo to show you how to play it either, but that's the aim of the game, is to basically build a turret, and I've never completed a turret so far, so I don't know what happens when you do, whether you move on to the next level or what. We'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. So basically you just fly back and forward across the landscape. The helicopter is controlled with the joystick, obviously. When you push left and right it goes straight, but as soon as you centre the joystick it starts to sink. So you're constantly fighting against gravity to keep the helicopter in the air, which I suppose is kind of how it is in real life. I don't know really, having never flown a helicopter. Just to demonstrate, if you fly into these explosions you're okay for a little while, but you do have a shield which eventually goes and kills you. There's no indication of how much shield you've got, it's total guesswork basically, so you just keep going until you die. So I continue to build my little turret radar base thingamabob. Nothing seemed to happen then. Flying back and forwards, avoiding all this artillery fire, I suppose you'd call it. So that's like a radar base that I've built now, but I'm still not finished. I have to pick up these boxes, continue to do so. Oh, there you go, there it's finished now. Keep flying around. They keep just respawning in one of 3 places, so there's not much, honestly. As you can see, I'm now building something else, and I'm not entirely sure what that is. Ooh. So graphically, it's not bad. I like the explosions. Good noises for them as well. Pretty simplistic. The landscape looks alright, and the helicopter's not too bad. So considering this was a 1985 release, graphics and sound are not too bad. Gameplay is a bit on the simplistic side. As you can see, some baddies flying through the air have now appeared, and you can't actually shoot these, as just evidenced. They're just making life a bit more difficult for me to complete my task. And obviously giving me the opportunity to rack up more points as well. Notably, the ships firing have now stopped firing at me, presumably because these jets are the more dangerous adversaries. It seems quite difficult to kill them. I must be quite close to completing whatever it is I'm supposed to build now. I hope anyway, because I'm getting a bit bored. Oh, things getting even more. Oh, UFOs after me now. That doesn't look promising. They're making some nice sound effects though. Oh my lord. Oh, and that's it. That was the first level completed. So I built whatever it was I was supposed to be building, and I'm on to the second level now. That was a first, so it's good for this demonstration. And it's more of the same by the looks of it. Avoid the artillery fire and build what's presumably going to be the same base again. It seems on these middling skill levels you can just fly straight through the explosions. On skill level 0, one contact with the explosion kills you. So definitely better off starting on the lower skill levels, or higher number but lower skill level. It does actually look like I'm building something different as well. I note these things can shoot in diagonals, just to make life a little bit more tricky as well. Oh, there goes another life. So that's pretty much it. Not a bad game really for $1.99. I think you get your money's worth out of it. It offers a fairly interesting challenge, different skill levels to try out as well, and high score to try and achieve, and better if you're playing against your friends and so on. So yeah, it's alright. There's a lot worse games from this era of Mastertronic releases, let's put it that way. So I'll just see how far I can get, but that pretty much sums it up for the review. Nice, simple, easy to play game once you got past the fact that the instructions were utterly useless within the game, within the packaging of course. Oh, I've crashed, and that's game over. So I got 5,147 points. as I said, the instructions in the inlay were pathetic and didn't tell you in any way how to play the game. But once you work out how to play it, yeah, it's not too bad at all, really.